And now we are covering the law of process. Okay. And we stopped at the question on personal growth. What is your plan for personal growth? Now, we have been covering 5 phases, the phases of leadership growth. And now this is the 4th phase. Okay, phase 4. I know and grow, and it starts to show. This is the 4th phase. Okay. When you recognize your lack of skill and begin the daily discipline of personal growth, exciting things start to happen. Several years ago, I was teaching leadership to a group of people in Denver, and in the crowd, I noticed a really sharp 19-year-old named Brian. For a couple of days, I watched as he eagerly took notes. I observed him interacting with others, and I talked to him a few times during breaks. When I got to the part of the seminar where I teach the law of process, I asked Brian to stand up so that I could talk to him, and I wanted everyone else in the audience to listen to. Brian, I've been watching you here, I said, and I'm very impressed with how hungry you are to learn and glean and grow. I want to tell you a secret that will change your life. Everyone in the whole auditorium seemed to lean forward. I believe that in about 20 years you can be a great leader. I want to encourage you to make yourself a lifelong learner of leadership. Read books, listen to tapes regularly, and keep attending seminars. And whenever you come across a golden nugget of truth or a significant quote, file it away for the future. It's not going to be easy, I said, but in 5 years, you'll see progress as your influence becomes greater. In 10 years, you'll develop a competence that makes your leadership highly effective. And in 20 years, when you're only 39 years old, if you've continued to learn and grow, others will likely start asking you to teach them about leadership. And some will be amazed. They look at each other and say, how did he suddenly become so wise? Brian, I concluded, you can be a great leader, but it won't happen in a day. Start paying the price now. What's true for Brian is also true for you. Start developing your leadership today, and someday you will experience the effects of the law of process. Thank you for the like. I encourage others to send likes my way too. We are reading the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. Phase 5. This is the final phase of leadership growth. I simply go because of what I know. When you're in phase 4, you can be pretty effective as a leader, but you have to think about every move you make. However, when you reach Hi Sky, hello, nice to see you here. When you reach phase 5, your ability to lead becomes almost automatic. You develop great instincts, and that's when the payoff is incredible. But the only way to get there is to obey the law of process and pay the price. To lead tomorrow, learn today. Leadership is developed daily, not in a day. That is the reality dictated by the law of process. Benjamin Disraeli asserted, the secret of success in life is for a man to be ready for his time when it comes. And the author thinks the idea is important because he wrote it separately on the page again. How are you? I'm fine, Sky. How are you? Good morning. Hello, Anita. Good morning to you and good late afternoon to me. It's, yes, I think 5 p.m. or something here. Yes, so I'll read it again, the quote by Benjamin Disraeli, because the author mentioned it twice, okay, on this page. The secret of success in life is for a man to be ready for his time when it comes. Nice to hear that you're okay, Sky. Good. Where are you from, Sky, by the way? And where are you now? What a person does on a disciplined, consistent basis gets him ready, no matter what the goal. You can see the effect of the law of process in any walk of life. NBA Hall of Fame player Larry Bird became an outstanding free throw shooter by practicing 500 shots each morning before he went to school. Demosthenes of ancient Greece became the greatest orator by reciting verses with pebbles in his mouth and speaking over the roar of the ocean's waves. And he did it despite having been born with a speech impediment. Oh wow. Again, Demosthenes of ancient Greece. Wow, okay. You need to have the same dedication. To become an excellent leader, you need to work on it every day. Okay, it's 5:43 p.m. Oh, you're from Sacramento. Okay, pretty basic. Well, yeah, things are basic. Well, basic things matter a lot, you know. And again, guys, I encourage you to send likes. So far, I have only one like. Maybe this is Sky. Yeah, it's maybe this is Sky's like. Thank you for that. Okay, now the next subheading is Fight Your Way Up. By the way, I'm in Van Nuys, so Sacramento, Van Nuys, we're not far from each other, Sky. Fighting Your Way Up. There is an old saying, champions don't become champions in the ring. They are merely recognized there. That's true. If you want to see where someone develops into a champion, look at his daily routine. Former heavyweight champ Joe Frazier stated, quote, "You can map out a fight plan or a life plan, but when the action starts, you're down to your reflexes. That's where your road work shows. If you cheated on that in the dark of the morning, you're getting found out now under the bright lights," unquote. Yeah, makes sense. Boxing is a good analogy for leadership development because it is all about daily preparation. Even a person with natural talent has to prepare and train to become successful. That's kind of scary. What's scary? What's scary? The fact that we're not far from each other? Or what? One of this country's greatest leaders was a fan of boxing, President Theodore Roosevelt. In fact, one of his most famous quotes uses a boxing analogy. And before his analogy, again, on this page we have a separate quote. Champions don't become champions in the ring. They are merely recognized there. Okay. Well, Sky, it's not scary. It shows that the algorithms of YouTube work well because YouTube recommends people, who are nearby, so that, a local community is built around the YouTube channel. So it's not scary at all. It's a nice thing. All right, and thank you to the other person and to the other. Okay, 3 likes. Thank you to all the 3 people who sent likes my way. I appreciate each and every like. Thank you very much. All right, now the boxing analogy. Analogy of President Theodore Roosevelt. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. Yeah, beautiful. Yes, Sky, it is. Roosevelt, a boxer himself, was the ultimate man of action. Not only was he an effective leader, but he was one of the most flamboyant of all US presidents. British historian Hugh Brogan described him as the ablest man to sit in the White House since Lincoln, the most vigorous since Jackson, the most bookish since John Quincy Adams. Actually, yes, I'll comment on on the last part of President Roosevelt's analogy. Cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. There is an Armenian poet, Paruch Sevak, and my legal name is Sevak because my father, my biological father, likes Paruch Sevak a lot. Yes, that Armenian poet and writer. And he has a beautiful quote. Most probably this idea is known, in the world literature, and in Armenian he put it this way. You do not, what's the word? You do not get sad because of things you did. You regret, yeah, that's the word. You do not regret the things you did, for the things you did. You regret for the things you didn't do. I like this idea a lot, and I discovered it, for myself. It is true whenever I don't try. Even something very simple like, talking to a guy whom I liked, and I didn't because I feared maybe he was homophobic, maybe he was straight, maybe he would just laugh at me, he would reject. But at least when I get a no, at least I've tried, And when I don't even try, later I regret mostly about that. I haven't tried. A no is a no, and I know how to take a no. But if I don't try, if I just cowardly, stay away, then I regret mostly because of that. What if it could have been a yes, yeah, for instance. So yes, those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat, as Roosevelt puts it, you will build a lot of regrets later in life. If at a younger age you doesn't even matter, not even only a younger age, at any age. I'm 35, so I'm not that old, and a lot of people tell me you don't look like 35, you look younger, etc. But trying, and even getting a defeat, it's better because you learn, because you discover, you understand, yeah. You at least you can tell yourself, I have tried, yeah, I've given it a try. If not, I wouldn't have been in the US had I been afraid of, being rejected with my visa. And I just, did it on my own, like, as a tourist. I applied for the visa. I wanted to visit my aunt. And I could, scare myself like with some thoughts, oh, what if at the embassy they say no to me, because there are a lot of people who get, rejected, yeah? So fear-based thinking is, the decisions that you take based on fear, and fear-based thinking are conservative. And conservative means inferior in quality, low quality. Usually that's the case. Like take a seed. Imagine the flowers that are here, would be afraid of prospering back in the day. The seed would be afraid, like, and would tell itself, what if a cow eats me? What if a worm destroys me if I open up? What if a human kills me? And life wouldn't be possible without risks, without daring, without trying. So fear-based decisions normally make you conservative and stagnant. You stagnate, you don't develop, you don't change. Imagine a caterpillar that would be afraid of becoming a butterfly, telling itself, oh, what if other caterpillars condemn me? What if I fly and then someone eats me? An eagle or whatever bird. So fear-based decisions are usually not good. In very rare occasions, when you face real danger, like maybe there is a lion in front of you, yeah, you still you need to be careful instead of being afraid. Animals also sense that. Yes, if you get to that panical fear mode, you lock yourself in that mode again. You might run away, and the animal might charge at you. Yeah. So even in those situations, just fear isn't a very good mm, metric, to for taking decisions. So don't be a cold and timid soul who knows neither victory nor defeat, as Roosevelt puts it. I like it. I like this, line. I'll just fold the page here. Yeah. Next up chapter, A Man of Action. T.R., Roosevelt's nickname, is remembered as an outspoken man of action and proponent of the vigorous life. While in the White House, he was known for regular boxing and judo sessions, challenging horseback rides, and long, strenuous hikes. A French ambassador who visited Roosevelt used to tell about the time that he accompanied the president on a walk through the woods. When the two men came to the banks of a stream that was too deep to cross by foot, T.R. stripped off his clothes and expected the dignitary to do the same so that they could swim to the other side. Nothing was an obstacle to Roosevelt. At different times in his life, Roosevelt was a cowboy in the Wild West, an explorer and big game hunter, and a rough riding cavalry officer in the Spanish-American War. His enthusiasm and stamina seemed boundless. As the vice presidential candidate in 1900, he gave 673 speeches and traveled 20,000 miles while campaigning for President McKinley. Wow. And years after his presidency, while preparing to deliver a speech in Milwaukee, Roosevelt was shot by a would-be assassin. With a broken rib and a bullet in his chest, Roosevelt insisted on delivering his 1 hour speech before allowing himself to be taken to the hospital. Oh, wow. Poof. Wow. Wow. Roosevelt started slow. Next up chapter. Of all the leaders this nation has ever had, Roosevelt was one of the toughest, both physically and mentally. But he didn't start that way. America's cowboy president was born in Manhattan to a prominent wealthy family. As a child, he was puny and very sickly. He had debilitating asthma, possessed very poor eyesight, and was painfully thin. His parents weren't sure he would survive. When he was 12, young Roosevelt's father told him, "You have the mind, but you have not the body, and without the help of the body, the mind cannot go as far as it should. You must make the body." Make it he did. He lived by the law of process. T.R. began spending time every day building his body as well as his mind, and he did that for the rest of his life. He worked out with weights, hikes, ice skated, hunted, rode horseback, and boxed. In later years, Roosevelt assessed his progress, admitting that as a child he was, quote, nervous and timid. Yet, he said, from reading of the people I admired, and from knowing my father, I had a great admiration for men who were fearless and who could hold their own in the world, and I had a great desire to be like them, unquote. By the time T.R. graduated from Harvard, he was like them, and he was ready to tackle the world of politics. No overnight success. Roosevelt didn't become a great leader overnight either. His road to the presidency was one of slow, continual growth. As he served in various positions, ranging from New York City Police Commissioner to President of the United States, he kept learning and growing. He improved himself, and in time he became a strong leader. That was further evidence that he lived by the law of process. Roosevelt's list of accomplishments is remarkable. Under his leadership, the United States emerged as a world power. He helped the country develop a first class navy. He saw that the Panama Canal was built. He negotiated peace between Russia and Japan. Wow. Winning a Nobel Peace Prize in the process. And when people questioned TR's leadership, since he had first become president when McKinley was assassinated, he campaigned and was re-elected by the largest majority of any president up to his time. Ever the man of action, when Roosevelt completed his second term as president in 1909, he immediately traveled to Africa where he led a scientific expedition sponsored by the Smithsonian Institution. A few years later, in 1913, he co-led a group to explore the uncharted river of doubt in Brazil. It was a learning adventure, he said he could not pass up. Quote, "It was my last chance to be a boy," unquote, he later admitted. He was 55 years old. On January 6, 1919, at his home in New York, Theodore Roosevelt died in his sleep. Then Vice President Marshall said, "Death had to take him a sleeping, for if Roosevelt had been awake, there would have been a fight." Unquote. When they removed him from his bed, they found a book under his pillow. Up to the very last, TR was still striving to learn and improve himself. He was still practicing the law of process. If you want to be a leader, the good news is that you can do it. Everyone has the potential, but it isn't accomplished overnight. It requires perseverance, and you absolutely cannot ignore the law of process. Leadership doesn't develop in a day, it takes a lifetime. Next subheading, applying the law of process to your life. 1. What is your personal plan for growth? Oh, the important question again. If you are like I was when Kurt Campier asked me this question, you have a vague intention to grow, not a specific plan. Write out a plan. I recommend that you read one book a month, listen to at least one CD, tape, or streaming message a week, and attend one conference a year. Select the materials in advance, set aside time for growth on your calendar, and start immediately. If developing a plan from scratch seems difficult, you may want to read my book, Today Matters. It contains the personal growth plan I have used for years. Okay. Today Matters, that's the name of his book. Okay. Okay, now I'll just reflect on my own plan for growth. So, as I said last time, I did this useful exercise called Ikigai. So now I'll show you. This is very personal, but again, I choose to be open and transparent. So yes, I'll just change the direction of my phone and share it with you guys. So this is the first level of Ikigai. First, you answer several questions. Number one, what am I good at? Yeah. Or you can start with what I really love. Yeah, that doesn't matter much. So, and then you write out your points. I'm good at writing grants, managing languages. I speak several languages. Yes, English is my third foreign language. And I'm not counting my mother tongue in those third foreign languages. Yeah. I'm good at teaching, coaching, organizing events. Yeah, I did a few. I'm good at learning. I'm good at digital tools and content making. Yeah. Then how can I be paid? What activities can I do for getting money? So a lot of things from this list I actually can do, yeah, for earning money. What I really love, see, and here, as you can see, some of the things are very personal. I really love sex, and I put it in here. Okay, you should be honest. It's about your professional stuff, your personal stuff, your passion, yeah, and what the world needs. By the way, I invented those little emojis. You actually have questions, but I personally personalized this Ikigai exercise, and this is how I do it. And this is, I hope you appreciate it. And again, send likes my way because I'm giving you, some peek into my, personal development material and stuff. I do this with my clients, with my students, with people who need this. Then you combine those together, what you really love and what the world needs. Yeah. And when you combine those two, this is your mission. And again, I combined these emojis together. Yeah. So your mission, when you combine those two, what you love, what the world needs, you synthesize them, you get your mission. And then the three other things, similarly, you combine together, and then you discover your mission, your vocation, your profession, and your passion. And in the end, you also bring those four together and you get your Ikigai. So I have my Ikigai, and I can read my Ikigai for you because it's, I don't think that sharing is, making things weak. Some people are afraid of sharing. They're like, what if someone steals it? Or what if the power of intention dissipates because I am sharing? But look at the light bulb. The light bulb shares its light, yeah, and it doesn't, make the light bulb less effective or useful. On the contrary, it makes it more useful. So my Ikigai is build and work at new intellectuals community. And I know that in the United States, this is going to be my main thing, yes, my main goal in life. After 6 months, once I get permission to work in the United States, I'll start making my nonprofit. I think this will be a nonprofit or maybe an educational, I don't know, or I could have several things. Yes, a nonprofit and an LLC. I don't know yet. Yeah, I am yet to learn and to discover and to build the whole thing. But build and work at New Intellectuals Community. Teach the community members and wider audience the way and process of building prosperity in their lives. This is why the community exists. Yes, the name of the community, the full name is New Intellectuals Community for Learning and Prosperity. Okay, the name is pretty self-explanatory. And share the light of being, reason, knowledge, and pleasure with the community members. You see? This is my Ikigai. And I do this for myself regularly from time to time. This is maybe my fifth, at least fourth, I think, maybe fifth time of doing Ikigai for myself within the past maybe 5 to 8 years. I'm not sure. I don't remember when exactly I started with Ikigai, the very first instance, but I did it, I've been doing it regularly, and I also helped some of my students, my clients, get their Ikigais, up and running. Okay. So I'll take a little break and I will be back in like 2-3 minutes. Okay. Give me a little time. Nature calls. And we are back. 5 people have been waiting for me. Okay, nice. Thank you for waiting, guys, and hi. I am back. Likes are welcome, comments are welcome, shares are welcome, and if you buy paid subscription, you will also get a course entitled Introduction to Practical Philosophy. Okay, it's on the channel and you can access it once you buy paid membership. Okay. All right, so this was the first question, your personal plan for growth. And my ikigai is my big vision, yes? So in order to reach that goal, in order to create the community of new intellectuals, I need to break it into smaller steps. Yeah. For instance, step 1 is for me to obtain the work permit and be able to work in the United States so that I can formalize uh, the organization. Yeah. And I don't have much power over that. Yeah, I just need to wait for 6 months until I get that permission. So another step could be for me to recruit volunteers, yeah, for the community, people who will support the initiative, the community, yeah, and maybe organize a board of members if a board of members is needed, yeah, and so on and so forth. So I need to break, this big. In my mind, I have some steps. Yeah, also bylaws. Yes, as a nonprofit, I need to make the bylaws by which the organization will work, etc. So you need to do the same. Yeah, you need to have your vision clearly. That's why when you ask yourself, "Who am I?" There are 3 important questions in life, according to me, that you need to ask yourself: who am I? What do I want? How do I get it? Those 3 questions are very important, and they are all encompassing. For instance, who am I? In order to learn who you are, you should also learn who you are not. So you should explore the world, the universe, the humanity, yeah? And the context in which you were born, the planet, the human civilization, your specific country, etc. So that one question, who am I, encompasses a lot of things, and it's not just about academic learning, like reading books. It's also self-exploration. I have a book, a little booklet entitled. Okay, let me translate the title into English because I wrote it in Armenian. Yeah, a practical manual for self-knowledge. That's the title of my little manual. I'll translate it into English as well, and it will be available probably on Amazon and other places. So it's important. Who am I? And then what do I want? Actually, the second question stems from the first one. Your identities define your priorities. Okay, that's very easy. Uncanny, not really. But that's how it works. If you are a socialist, you'll have appropriate, or not even appropriate, you'll have goals and objectives and values that will be appropriate for socialism. If you're a communist or capitalist, doesn't matter. So your identities define your wishes and desires. Of course, it's also vice versa in some way, but not always. And then when our identities change, also our priorities and values might change. And then how I get there, that's the third question. Who am I? What do I want? And how do I get there? The third question is your roadmap, your roadmap to success. So you need to make it and you need to work on it. And there's a little question in that third question, which is something like, what do I need to change? Yeah, to what do I need if I'm not there yet? And you feel like you're stuck or something, you need to have, you know. So I'll also write this little book about those 3 cordial questions, and I'll also publish it one day on Amazon. And number 2, the second point for applying the law of process to your life. One thing that separates great leaders from good leaders is the way they invest in those who follow them. Just as you need a growth plan to improve, so do those who work for you. You can take groups of employees through books, bring in trainers, mentor people one-on-one, anything that works. Make providing opportunities for growth your responsibility. Okay. Yeah. And the third point is, if you are the leader of a business, an organization, or a department, you can create a culture of growth. When people in your sphere of influence know that personal growth and leadership development are valued, resourced, and rewarded, then growth will explode. And the environment you created will begin attracting high achievers and people with great potential. Okay, that's it. Then the fourth chapter is the law of navigation. And it sounds as follows. Anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to chart the course. Okay, beautiful words. In 1911, 2 groups of explorers set off on an incredible mission. Though they used different strategies and routes, the leaders of the teams had the same goal: to be the first in history to reach the South Pole. Their stories are life and death illustrations of the law of navigation. One group was led by Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen. Oh, I heard this name, yes. Ironically, Amundsen had not originally intended to go to Antarctica. His desire was to be the first man to reach the North Pole. But when he discovered that Robert Peary had beaten him there, Amundsen changed his goal and headed toward the other end of the Earth. North or south, he knew his planning would pay off. Okay. And then the next subchapter is Amundsen carefully charted his course. Okay, let's read this one too. Before his team ever set off, Amundsen had painstakingly planned his trip. He studied the methods of the Eskimos and other experienced Arctic travelers and determined that their best course of action would be to transport all their equipment and supplies by dog sled. When he assembled his team, he chose expert skiers and dog handlers. His strategy was simple. The dogs would do most of the work as the group traveled 15 to 20 miles in a 6-hour period each day. That would afford both the dogs and the men plenty of time for daily rest prior to the following day's travel. Amundsen's forethought and attention to detail were incredible. He located and stocked supply depots all along the intended route. That way, they would not have to carry every bit of their supplies with them to the whole trip. He also equipped his people with the best gear possible. Amundsen had carefully considered every possible aspect of the journey, though thought it through and planned accordingly, and it paid off. The worst problem they experienced on their trip was an infected tooth that one man had to have extracted. Okay. And the next one is Scott violated the law of navigation. But we will get there next time, okay? Scott and Amundsen and the law of navigation with the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. Thank you for being with me. Likes, comments, and shares are welcome. And if you'd like to help me build the New Intellectuals community for learning and prosperity, feel free to reach out. I am looking for volunteers, for people that will help me out. For instance, I need volunteers that would create chapters for my content on YouTube. So you could do that. And in return, I will teach you some skills if you'd like to learn to make content with mobile phone, shorts, and understand the basics of digital marketing, and also the subjects I teach. I teach English, French, basic Hebrew, philosophy, and chess. In return for your work, I can, teach you those skills. So, yeah, reach out and let's build something beautiful together. High five to y'all. Thank you and see you next time, hopefully tomorrow. Bye bye.